Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Weekend Winners in association with BetVictor as we look ahead to the pick of the action from Sandown, Beverley and Chester. Of course, all Chester's races live on Sky Sports Racing featuring the Chester Stakes. Being joined once again by Declan and Sam Boswell. You two are dressed far more for the weather than me, I'm not going to lie. It's fairly cold, Sam.
Yes, driving in past Sandown, plenty of rain. I upset Declan because he forgot his umbrella today and made a few jokes at his expense, but he's dried out, which is the good news.
Just about.
But we'll need to see what the track does at Sandown, like I say, and everywhere else. Keep an eye on your weather. We filmed this obviously ahead of time. If you're punting at home, I would wait till Saturday morning before you have a bet.
I know, we're getting into that territory deck, aren't we, where the weather is starting to play havoc. We've actually had a really good summer where we haven't had to talk about weekend weather watch, but now I feel like this weekend is perhaps setting the precedent.
Yeah, I think as long as I've been living in London, it's definitely the best summer I can remember.
Oh,
we were very, very lucky. So, yeah, it's been good. Not as good as the tipping last week. Well done, you had a good week.
Thank you so much, yeah.
And I say that through gritted teeth because you chinned me in 2 races. Many men wish death upon me, chinned. And then I thought Skaskuza should have won the first at York on Saturday from a horse King of Cities that I backed in the French Derby. So,
You get the violin out, Kate?
Well done, Kate.
So, right, here we go then. Begrudgingly, I will return the favour. An anti-post play for you, though. Are we going to credit you with Never So Brave?
That was on the socials, wasn't it?
That was on the social. I don't think we put it up on the show, so I don't think we're allowed to claim it.
There you go. That was kind of mutual passive-aggressive compliments going on there between the pair of us.
No, but seriously, well done. That's a great week for you.
Oh, I jinxed myself, though, because I tweeted going 2 from 2, and then the next 2 tips absolutely flopped there afterwards. So let that be a lesson. Never peak too soon with your social media interactions and let it all play out, and then we shall see. Now, before we get stuck into the action properly, a reminder, as ever, to please do gamble responsibly. Our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will still do our best to point you in the right direction. Right, on with the 205 at Beverley. So we're heading to the Beverley Bullet Sprint Stakes. This is a listed contest for the 3-year-olds and over 5 furlongs. 10 runners to go at. 3-year-olds dominate the market, and 5 3-year-olds have won this race in the last 20 years, Rixie.
Yes, producer Ben is away on holidays this week. Well, we've got a northerner in doing the doing the steering, and we've got the Beverley Bullet, proper Yorkshire racing, look, I think everyone will know lots about Region now. Legend of a horse, being brilliant for the syndicate guys that have owned him. He's taken him around the world. He is absolutely the horse to beat, but I wonder, was next week not the Haydock Spring Cup? Is that not the plan all along? So I wonder, are they getting him in here because maybe the ground's going to turn? Because obviously quick ground is quite key to him. Look, in first time blinkers, he's absolutely the horse to beat. But just maybe, I think he's a 7-year-old now, maybe not the force of old. Could he be beatable at a short price? Look, I'm going to take him on because the horse I'm going to put up is First Instinct, because I think the race sets up really well for her. I think Regional is drawn in 3. Star of Lady M is drawn in 2, and my horse is drawn in 4. I think she's going to get the perfect setup. Now, she does drop down to 5 furlongs after a run last time out at York in it wasn't the Summer Stakes, where she showed really good early pace over 6 furlongs and then didn't quite get home. And this is her at the start of the season at Bath. We like to show you his video if we can every week, just to give you a kind of a visual of the horse, how they move and everything. And this day at Bath, this was over 5 furlongs. She didn't look like she had the pace this day at Bath to lay up, but she was doing all her best work late on here. And even though she didn't look quick enough for 5 this day, I think she's actually got quicker as the season has gone on. Like I said, last time out in the Summer Stakes at York, she showed good pace, but she didn't get home over 6 there. I think this race sets up perfectly for her. And although she hasn't run at a track that's got a stiff climb like Beverley has, maybe a strongly run 5 on a stiff climb is exactly what she wants now. And I'll take her as a little each way bet against the hot favourite, and then take the hot favourite out. It's a very open race.
It is, isn't it? Behind Regional. But at 11 to 1 for First Instinct, not a bad way to play it for those in behind. Sam, who do you like?
Yeah, Regional 7 to 4. Interesting. Couldn't work out. Really good price for a bit of a trap. Bit of a trap. And I came down with deciding, going back through the history of this race, there's a real standout feature, which is just how well Clive Cox has done with his runners in it. Tis Marvellous won back-to-back renewals of the race, including once at 3. Kurdos won it as a 3-year-old as well. And he's got the pair in here, Red Orange and Kurdos, and they're different types, aren't they? Red Orange being that bit younger, but the draw's gone against them. However, again, going back through the history, there's a few that have been in 6, 7 that have won this. Yes, it's a preference to be drawn low, but I don't think it's an impossibility to win from there. And the two, like I say, have had sort of differing seasons. Let's start with Red Orange, shall we? Who, for me, I think it's just been so consistent this year. Only won the once. Going to see him finishing second here. This was in France last time out. And a good run, I think it's fair to say. Jack Shannon's horse gets the win here. But this is a fair marker, I think it's safe to say. And the ground looks to be right. Just love the way that this horse has sort of travelled. And I just definitely think 5's his trip. You know, there's no doubting that. And I kind of just felt like by Memas, there could be a bit more to offer in this kind of company. And just has been so consistent. Typical Clive Cox, fast horse over a short trip. You know, see plenty of them. So I'm going to Dutch the pair of them, I think. Red Orange for me. And then Kurdos, I can't not back this horse. Now, I've got a feeling, Kate, you might like Regional because I saw the notes at the start of the show. This horse wasn't far off Regional if you go back to Royal Ascot. And you've got to upgrade that effort. When Kurdos was 5th that day, unseated the rider because I was stood the other side of the post and saw, I think it was Christophe Soumillon, came off. And we're going to watch the VT here. Your horse over there, the other side of the track. But Kurdos runs an absolute screamer here for me. And again, typical Clive Cox horse that's just run, you know, at all the big meetings, been kept pretty busy. I know there's a few disappointing runs in there. I think York, the Nunthorpe wasn't great, if we're being completely honest. But again, this isn't a test nearly as strong as that particular race. And definitely think there's still a race in him. And these creditable efforts, let's look at the distance between the two as they finish. They obviously seem to sort of end up merging a bit closer on the track. There's nothing really in it, Kate, for me. So at the prices, I'm going to Dutch the Clive Cox pair and hope he has another winner in a race he does well.
Yeah, like you say, he's got a very good record in this race. So it is interesting when I saw your notes about these horses being Dutched. However, I'm pleased that we've got to look at Regional in your previous clip because we're going to go back to Deauville. Now, Rixie, you were very keen to flag up the stars, and rightly so, because I actually forgot about this. The fact that his noseband didn't help him by any means, did it, Rixie?
No, I think I was actually hungover watching the race this year, and you could see the noseband there just come off. I was going, this horse surely cannot see here for a couple of strides, and thank God it actually came off fully, but you can see why he wears it. His head is a little bit high. Yeah. That's just the way he carries himself Regional. He's an unbelievably game horse. But yeah, this is clearly the horse you're siding with here.
Yeah, and as you say, for all that he's got that proud head carriage, it is just, and we heard this from Aidan O'Brien, where he said about his really fast horses, they tend to have that high head carriage. It was always the debate over Paddington, wasn't it? He had the high head carriage, but Aidan O'Brien was always saying, well, it's actually because he's a very quick horse. And it isn't, because we tend to associate a high head carriage with horses that don't try and don't really dig in and put their all in. Yeah. Not for sprinters, though. So for Regional, it's no problem. But as you can tell, he wears that noseband for a reason. So yeah, it's not going to help him when it flies off through a race. But ever so consistent, ever so classy. I'm not going to side with this being a trap. I think that 7-4 is probably where he should be. If not, you could make the case for him being slightly shorter, given the loftiness that he has in comparison to his rivals. When we're looking at the British sprinting scene, we say it time and time again that it's not a lofty ceiling by any means, but he's proven himself up to that, as we saw in the King Charles III Stakes previously, finishing third, beaten just over a length in that. So now he is down significantly in grade. If Haydock is the main plan for him, perhaps they won't run here just to see what the weather's going to do, or maybe if they run twice, I still think it's enough. They might run twice, but I suspect this is maybe the plan just because of the ground. I think the ground, even though he does bend his knee and he hits the ground quite hard, and he's a son of territories, and a lot of them go with digging the ground, he just seems at his best on quicker surface. Yeah, or whichever way they go for, whichever way they play it, then I'm going to, be reassured by... And we'll either have a non-runner or a non-starter here, because good old Clarendon House is in the race.
I'm glad you flagged this, because if he falls out the stalls and loses all chance, run for your money under BetVictor. We still offer that concession. You'll get your money back. There you go. Nicely teed up. Well, he ran last night at the Racing League. He didn't come out of the stalls. No. So I'm not sure if he's got to pass the stalls test now, or if he's... Yeah, him and Mad Moose will do really well together there, going around. Oh, imagine those two together. Poor El Midland Park, they get some really talented horses, but
They're just, some of them are just too clever for their own good.
Exactly. They tried to give him every chance last night, didn't they? Last in, literally was waiting for a third of a second.
Yeah.
And
I actually I had a few quid on him in the Nunthorpe last year, the big price, and he stayed in the stalls. So.
Goodness me. Yeah, so Clarendon House really looking forward to seeing what he does if he's allowed to turn up then in the race. But do make sure to take a note of that, and do let us know in the comment section who you fancy for the Beverley Bullet as we head to Sandown for the 2:25. This is for Group 3 Atalanta Stakes, 3-year-olds and over a mile. Tanfani used this as a stepping stone to Group 1 glory last year. Is there a future Group 1 winner in here today though, Sam?
I hope so. I think we've got a really interesting field here, and Sandown's not a bad card at all. And I know this sort of one of the quieter weekends, but I thought this was a really compelling race. The market sets up nicely, doesn't it? We've got a horse that's been really progressive at the top of the betting, who was a good winner at the track last time out, 4-1 favourite. Next in could be anything, couldn't it? Off a massive break, Ali Awara just the once raced, 11-2. Personally, I can park that and just watch the horse at the prices. Cathedral will certainly have fans, I think it's fair to say. Talk about that horse in a little bit. But I went through them all, and I thought with the rain as I was driving through this morning, I was a bit more reassured that of the ones that I wanted to back, American Gal, I thought could handle a bit of ease in the ground. Now, when Declan and me were talking before the show started, he pointed out that a couple of these runs on slightly easier ground did come in France, so we've got to be a bit careful with the going description. Yeah. We're going to watch the second last time out at Ascot, and I just really like Ed Walker's horse profile for this. She's clearly got a bit of talent. She won her first 2 starts at the back end of her 2-year-old career on the all-weather surface. Then we didn't see her till Kempton, she reappeared. Then she's been in France a couple of occasions, and she's probably not achieved as much to date as some of these, but I think she's just got that bit more upside potentially to her, and I think we might just have yet to see the very best of her, and I'm really excited to see what this horse can do. And Ed's had a good season, I think it's fair to say, and he just seems to be able to get horses back that maybe you think, I'm not so sure that they can outrun their price, and that's what I was looking for here as a bit of an each-way option. Flight, I want to see how she's done after the break. Obviously, she's been off, I think, 70 days. I'm slightly concerned that she's not the same horse I thought she was at the start of the season. Spiritual's got to give absolute lumps away to the younger horses. Put me off her chances, I must say. And Cajole, I'm just not that big a fan of. So, yeah, I thought, 12-1? I thought it was just an each-way play in a race where there's just so many different angles.
It's a tough race, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really good race. I'm really looking forward to it. So it's one of those ones that we don't mind it being difficult. But American Gal then at 12-1 for Sam. And we talk about good attitudes. She has got such a resolute attitude, even in defeat there, as we were looking at. So 12s for Sam. Rixie, who are you with?
Yeah, look, a really open race. I would say, I think the run to the first bend is going to be quite crucial here. There's a lot of pace on here, and the pace is drawn middle to wide. The likes of American Gal is wide. Spiritual, I think, is bang in the middle there. Blue Bolt is wide as well. Those are all horses who will go forward and put lots of pace into the race, and I think that will really suit my filly, who is not here. She's currently in the bar, and that is Skellet of Rafe Beckett's. Now, she was actually sent off favourite for a race on Derby Day. The race that Spiritual won was at the Princess Margaret, and she was sent off favourite against her, and she comes up against her here, and she's got a £3 swing in the weights. Now, this is her last season as a 3-year-old running at Royal Ascot in the Coronation Stakes. This level, I think this level of Group 1 3-year-old fillies over a mile is better than what we've got over a mile at the moment this season. So I'm hoping the older horses can give away to the younger horse. But you can see her there, just come back into 4. Bit scratchy in front, not the greatest of movers. I think as well they made the run with her this day. I don't think it suited her, and I think getting back on an easy surface where she's got lots of pace to run at will suit. And that's absolutely what she's going to get at Sandown on Saturday. Now, she did disappoint on her seasonal debut at Epsom. I was really worried about a big filly like her handling the track, but she handled the track fine. But just like a lot of Rafe Beckett's horses, I don't think they were ready that early in the season, which is a bit mad given you're nearly halfway through. And she's just badly needed now. Look, going to need a little bit of luck that this has been the plan. She is a course and distance winner. She won over this course and distance in September last year, beating the boys as well. So if she's ready to go, I think from a low draw, let all of those favourites to the top of the market beat lumps out of each other going to the first bend. She'll sit nice and take a nice posie, hopefully a bit of a pace collapse, and she will run on well. That's how I'm envisaging it. but whether it plays out like that, we'll find out
Who
Saturday.
knows?
Exactly.
Well, I hope you're wrong, but yeah, no, good analysis.
Yeah,
Enjoyed
good
it.
analysis, good case, and for a nice price as well. As you say, she is in the bar skillet, so she is interesting in this one. Now, speaking of Rafe Beckett, and with a previous inmate of his, or resident, I should say, rather than inmate, that was a bit ominous, wasn't it, saying that? Yeah, previous resident then of Rafe Beckett's with Cathedral. Now, Blue Bolt might well be good enough to go and win this, but she's priced up, I say accordingly. It's an open race, but still 4-1, though I thought was about where you would have her in her bid to gain yet another win. But Cathedral, though, is going to be the one for me. Now, she was second last time out at Shanti in the Group 3 Pre-Chloe. Now, this is for the 3-year-old fillies over the 9 furlongs. And I've really liked this filly for a while now. Still expecting that group success from her. Hopefully she'll get it in the Group 3. And this, of course, will be her Sabre debut for Kevin Philippart de Foy, because Kia has had another switcheroo with his trainers and this filly moving from Rafe Beckett. But this was a really good run last time out. The winner, Maidel, Cathedral, she was held up in rear. Just wasn't the place to be as it transpired. She probably just paid for that late on with her finishing effort. Now, the winner was dropping in class for that. Cathedral was dropping in class for that pre-Chloe as well. But I did like the way, despite that slightly just plateauing finish there, that she saw out the 9 furlongs. So she's back in trip now to the mile. However, if we do get the rain around, with it being at Sandown as well, especially if there is a run to the first bend as well, I'm hoping that that might just eke out that extra bit of stamina for Cathedral. So hopefully she'll be able to show that good and consistent form for her new handler. But it's never something you really know. So 13-2 is probably about the price I'd really want her at shortest, because, as I say, you just never know.
Could see her going off shorter. I think maybe Blue Bolt, and especially the Haggis filly. The Haggis filly being second favourite. You know, this is her second ever start.
Market will be very
the market will be interesting. And like I know she did win really well at Yarmouth, but the race hasn't worked out that well, and it was proper soft ground as well that day. So this could all be just a jolt to the system for her. Like Sam said earlier, I'd be happy to take her on at the prices.
Yeah.
Could see a few shortening in here if they're in good order.
And if she does, obviously it's not going to be a negative for me whatsoever, provided it's not at the expense of just something else massively drifting. But 13-2 as it currently stands is where I'm happy with her at the minute. But of course, if Cathedral does shorten, then I will be further buoyed. Now, do let us know your selections for that race in the comments section below. And whilst you're there, also hit subscribe and the bell notification so you never miss an episode. Right, on to the 240 at Chester now, the listed Chester Stakes, 3-year-olds and over 1 mile 6. So the feature race on Sky Sports Racing on Saturday sees Table Talk head the market. But Dec, of course, this race has a different look to it from earlier on in the week with Hamish, who was heading the way the whole way through. Didn't get the declaration, so we've now got 2-1 the field.
Yeah, 2-1 the field, and I think as the market suggests here, the top 2 are the class acts in the race. Probably a little bit of pace on here, maybe Too Soon could go forward. Alonzi will definitely go forward, and Pridwin has in the past as well. But I think that the ones to concentrate are the top 2. And Table Talk, I thought he started the season really nicely. I think it was at the Aston Park Stakes at Newbury, a couple of nice runs there earlier in the season. But I didn't like what I saw from him in the Hardwick. He was really cold away from the stalls, really cold early, and you know that really wasn't like him. He was a horse who should have been up at the pace that day. And then last time out at York, I think Sam and I might have had him as our next best that day.
We did.
Really, really disappointed what he did in the final furlong. And look, they're putting first-time cheek pieces on, and maybe just maybe the form of the Tom Clover yard was what's kind of causing those issues. They are red hot at the moment. But I'm going to go with the other horse there to the top of the betting in Alsakib. And this is him running at Royal Ascot in the Copperhouse Handicap last year. Sonny Kingman, you can see there again, little bit like the other Kingman and filly I put up in Skellet. Not the greatest of movers in front. And I think I think maybe if Chester gets some rain, that will definitely suit him. But this was a big run under a big weight off, I think, a mark of 105. He didn't have a good trip early. He was 3 and 4 wide without cover, but he was finishing well here, so that was a good run. And he does seem to save maybe some of his best form for Ascot and also for York, but he is a winner here at Chester before, which is always a positive. And look, I will take him just in the hope that the Balding team can get him back into good order. He started the season really well behind Rebels Romance and then disappointed last time out, but Andrew Balding said the ground was too quick for him, so I'm hoping Chester get a bit of rain just for him to get his toe in. And PJ MacDonald, who's having has a great record favourite for Andrew Balding this season. He's doing really well. He takes the ride.
And we know course form is so important. At the best of times, as you say, at Chester most notably as well. Then 11-5 second in. We know you sided with him because of his price as much as anything else there. Sam, you were in agreement last time for your next best with Table Talk. Are you sticking with him?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with him again. And I think the more I look at this race, the more confidence, probably not the right word, the more I feel like he is the right market leader. And, you know, it's hard, isn't it, when you think how many times he's run since he won at Chelmsford before the Derby, when, you know, he went off 100-1 and outran his price that day. And this season, disappointing? I don't know. He's been chinned a couple of times, hasn't he, at Newbury? And, you know, the York run was a concern. But I think the yard probably did the right thing, giving him a little mini break, freshen him up a little bit. It's been a while since we've seen him. And I suppose the draw might not be ideal. I appreciate this is a longer trip. You know, Chester, we always worry about the draw, but as long as he can get a good posse, the yard are flying. I looked at the race and it's very little in here to get too excited about in terms of trying to beat the top two. So I had to make a decision. The yard form probably swings it for me, I must say. They're absolutely flying at the moment, Tom Clover. And I've had confidence in this horse being, you know, up to this level, if not probably thinking he was a bit better. Maybe this is his level now and that'll be that. But I'd be really hopeful of a big run from him. 2-1, I don't really want to take any shorter, but yeah, I view it as a bit of a match between the front pair.
I agree with how shallow I actually thought this race was. When we finally got the declarations through, I thought there's really not much in here.
Got a horse who's running point to points and Manana Rescue.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah, that says it all, doesn't it?
And Alonzi, we shouldn't forget to say, has got a penalty as well. Not going to be easy for her.
Yeah. Of course, still looking forward to it and the feature on Sky Sports Racing.
Yeah, make sure you tune in.
Hey, listen, if we find
a great race.
If we find the winner, that's the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Who cares?
If we don't find the winner, having taken the top two out of the market, we're in trouble. But
we really are.
But I want to know, is Kate with you or is she with me?
I had previously, so I started looking further in
this is it's not you, it's me kind of thing, isn't it?
We're used to that conversation. And I initially looked at Tashcan for this and I thought, well, Tashcan's been completely forgotten about here. Thinking that he's at 14-1, he was bigger priced at the time of declaration. And I sort of thought, well, with his course and distance record here, he's surely got to be the one side or even down in trip. Then I realised, of course, the Watergate Cup handicap, the Heritage Handicap that comes up in mid-September back at Chester over 2 miles is his race.
Very
so
good.
he is going to be very well treated for that. He's actually running off the same mark that he won that race off 2 years ago. I think he was third in it last year off of 108, I want to say. I think it's on 105 now. So I then saw why he was the price that he was with that. Expected to be his main aim then going back there. So I had to leave him to one side then. And it just landed me back on Table Talk again. So sorry, with Sam here. Sorry, Rixie. But yeah, it's just going to have to be him, isn't it? For all that, he's a horse where I don't get all that enthused about, but he does just set the benchmark then for this race. And the fact that he's getting the first-time cheek pieces as well, might you seek out that bit of extra improvement in him? So you'd imagine that Connections would be just fairly disappointed if he does get beaten here with everything being chucked at him. Of course, he has been having a good time with things this season, running his best race of this season, but posting his worst finishing figure when finishing 6th of the 12 at 25-1 in the Group 2 Hardwick Stakes over 1 mile 4, behind Rebels Romance. But it was a stiff task. He still ran with plenty of credit. Down in grade last time out, as you say, Rixie, to York, up to 1 mile 6, third. And it kind of never really looked all that likely, though. But again, it was a solid run behind Al Kareem, who just made all as he tends to do and is a very good horse on his day as well. So same trip around here, but around Chester, though. And I'm hoping that will see him to best effect.
We saw in that clip, Al-Azi, he just pipped him on the line. He went 1 next time out, didn't he, at Goodwood, I think it was. And the horse that finished last was Candlefoot, who went and won a poor listed contest up at Beverley, I think, next time out. So, look, there were form boosts in behind him in terms of this kind of level. So you'd like to think...
Didn't even mention Rebels Romance, who won a Group 1 in Germany.
But he's in front. I was just focusing on what was in behind it.
Collateral behind form.
Yeah, I'm trying to... But come on.
Collateral behind form.
Yeah.
Yes, new term. New term, there you go.
It all counts to bolster our argument.
Yeah, we will try and just manipulate anything to bolster our own argument, won't we? But there you go then. We're teaming up with Table Talk. We'll let you have Al-Kasib, though. But do let us know again in the comments section who you fancy for the Chester Stakes as we move on back to Sandown for the 3:35. The Group 3 Solario Stakes, 2-year-olds over 7 furlongs. So the feature race here, Publish and Pacific Avenue Lockhorns, Publish being 16-1 for next year's 2,000 Guinea Sam. So who are you siding with?
Yeah, this is interesting because Declan always gives me stick, doesn't he, about enjoying short price favourites. But this is
publish it even.
This is one I don't think I could back at even money.
Dum, dum, dum.
Listen, you get even money shots in various sports, various events. I just think there's a lot of potential upside in unexposed horses in here. We've seen published twice, and don't get me wrong, I thought the debut where he got beat, there was plenty of reasons to dwell at the start, and then obviously there was a bit of traffic, and then next time out wins. I don't know if it should be even money when you've got horses in here that could potentially really...
That are so unexposed.
Yeah, we don't have an each-way angle with just the 7, which is a little bit of a shame. But I thought He's Wallum for James Tate was just a bit overpriced, really. The manner of his victory at Beverley was certainly impressive. And I read the comments afterwards, and they'd sort of had to take their time with him, had a little bit of a shin issue. So a bit of easing the ground shouldn't be too much issue. By a horse that previously won this race, going back through the history books as well. And I'm just a big fan of looking at an angle to try and get him beat. And I know there'll be loads of people out there saying, yeah, but from what he's achieved, he should be the even money favourite. And maybe you're correct, but you've got horses in here with just one run next to the name, some a bit more battle hardened. I think he could be vulnerable as a favourite. When we try and price a race up, you've got to try and look to see what can beat a horse. And I felt there was enough angles in here. And for me, He's Wallum at a bit of a price. I'll take a very small stake swing at it. I don't like the fact we don't get the 8. That is frustrating. Maybe I should be thinking in the without market, but actually, no, I want to get the value out of this. If I think this horse is possibly beatable or not potentially an even money shot, I've got to find something against him. So He's Wallum was a tentative small play, but best of luck, because I know loads of people are going to get stuck into the favourite. I think he'd be one of the talking horses of the weekend, naturally, as you expect in a race of this contest. But for me, a bit too short, and I reckon you two might agree here.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? He is short enough here, Rick. Yeah, so publish it even money.
Is it maybe because Field of Gold won the race last year in the same colours and for the same trainers?
Record in the race.
Exactly. I don't know. Like I would say, on the first day he was obviously brutally unlucky, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Got tied up on the rail and he was quite slow away that day as well. And second time out, I don't think he would have learned much because he had complete run of the race on the front end. Now James Doyle actually rode him that day and said he'd be a much better horse with the lead. But two things was interesting that James said after that race. One, he said he got a bit upset in the stalls, which you never like to see, and he has a habit of being slowly away. And Sandown's been a bit of a front runner's haven this year, so if he gives some of these a head start at that kind of price, could you find maybe better even money shots? And the other thing, James said that he probably just got away with the ground. He said he would be much better on quicker ground. Sandown have had rain, and there might be more rain coming, so I want to take him on as well. Pacific Avenue showed an unbelievable attitude to win from a better fancied stablemate on debut at Newmarket. He's out of Lumiere. He's really well bred, but hasn't run in a while, and he was quite keen and gassy that day. And I would just wonder after the break, if he's quite keen and gassy on this ground, he may not get away with it. And it all led me back to Good Owl Humidity, winner of the Chesham Stakes at Royal Ascot this season. And he's a horse I really like. He's got such a wonderful way of going about him. He's a lovely big galloping horse, but he's got a high cruising speed, and he just gets out in front. He's quicker than he looks, I suspect, and gets out in front and he pricks his ears, and he's going quick, but it looks like he's doing it all within himself. And you can just see here how he gallops. This is a horse I think will probably stay maybe 10 furlongs as a 3-year-old next year. But the fact that he's a high cruiser and he's a galloper, I think he's probably better equipped to handle the ground at Sandown on Saturday. And, he just looks like the now horse. I mean, now look at his ears here. the ear closest to us, the near ear, is flicking half back, half cocked, and then he hits the line. He had loads left. Now, we did run last time out at Goodwood in the Vintage Stakes, but the 7 furlongs at Goodwood was never 7 furlongs that would have got to the bottom of him. This is a horse who'd probably stay a mile already, I think, as a 2-year-old. And I just threw it into the mixer there. It's going to be a race probably run at a high tempo. Luca will go forward. Humidity will probably sit on his girts. And, any of those horses like Pacific Avenue, He's Wallum, having just their second career runs, might all find this a bit of a shock to the system. And then Publish as well could be slowly away. So I thought Humidity with Oisin Murphy riding, because I think James Doyle is still out with that virus. So best wishes to James. Oisin's going to get the ride. And I hope Oisin makes plenty of use of him and grinds him into submission.
Yeah, because like you say, over 7 furlongs. What we're talking about, 7 furlongs, Sandown, Sandown, potentially some rain about then as well.
Exactly. 7 furlongs, high tempo race at a stiff track like Sandown is a stiff test for 2-year-olds, even at this time of year.
Definitely so. So 8 to 1. I was going to give you an extra point then.
Well, he's bigger elsewhere, I wanted to say, but the BetVictor traders are clearly on
I didn't
the
even
same
tee him up
wavelength.
for that. I didn't even tee him up for that whatsoever.
But of course, make sure you do have all your bets.
I was waiting for Declan to do a betting without market, which no doubt he'd have requested.
No,
I've clearly fancied that you'll be able to beat the even money favourite in the outright.
We're setting ourselves up to look really silly here, aren't we? Kate, you going to save the day and back the fav?
No,
Okay.
because I agreed as well. And I'm
Wow.
also not going in the without market either, because the without market is when you're really sure about the favourite. They're the right favourite, probably the right price.
Are you sure about anything in this game?
No, absolutely. I'm not in my life, to be honest. So, let alone the game. But a bit of spirit at 18 to 1. What an insult to such a likeable horse. The most experienced horse in the race with 4 runs to his name, winning his first 2 as well. Now, on debut, he won at a big price. It's about 28 to 1 to win on debut. And a certain jump jockey had been riding him out in the morning at that time as well, and said that he goes very, very well. Didn't have a penny on him. Neither did the market clearly fancied him at that point either. But then he
Who's the certain jump jockey?
Mr. Gethings.
Oh, was it?
Him out in the mornings.
Cheers for the text, yeah.
No, I didn't even get the heads up on it. So no, he went and won it about 28 to 1 then on debut, and no one apparently backed him. Backed it up at Salisbury under a penalty. Now look how gutsy he is. It was such a good move though by the winner to challenge away from him. Now these two have got intertwining form lines though. That 13 to 8 Godolphin favourite, because a bit of spirit actually beat him on his debut. It wasn't the Godolphin horse's debut though, his second start. So those two had mixed form lines then between the pair of them. So I'm glad that he's coming back to 7 furlongs though. I know that I think Clive Cox thinks he's very much a here and now horse, being a 2-year-old, because he is quite small and quite a neat type. But the way that he shapes, you'd expect him to still train on as a 3-year-old and to get further as well. But I think with 7 furlongs at this track is ideal for him for now. So at 18 to 1, what an insult.
And I'd just say as well, you made a really good point about interlocking form lines there. Publish was beaten by a Godolphin horse on debut, and then he beat a Godolphin horse next time out, and Godolphin have got Pacific Avenue in here. So Charlie Appleby and his team should know exactly where they stand with Publish. So it'll be really interesting to see what the market does between those two.
Isn't it just? Yeah, but even money is it's just short, isn't it, about Publish? I can happily go and let him win at that price. But if you fancy him, do let us know in the comments section below. So 3 of us head over to the sofa to give you our best bets of the weekend.
And back in with BetVictor.
Time for our best bets of the weekend. As always, Rixie, you're up first.
Right, going to go to Chester on Saturday, 3:15. Sir Paul Ramsey for the Johnston Yard. Horse who's been in good order. Typical Johnson horse. Big, leggy thing that needs lots of time, and when they hit form, they hit form. This horse is hitting form. He's got course form at Chester as well. The drop back to a mile has really suited him, and if Joe Fanning can just get him out of the stalls, because he's quite a big horse, I think he'll go close. That Haydock win 2 starts back, the time was outrageous, really good time, and even though he's £2 out of the handicap, he will do. For me, the next best is actually going to be Humidity in the Solario Stakes. Want to take on the horse to the front of the market because they're not as experienced and may not handle the ground. But Humidity's out of a pivotal mare. He's a galloping horse, really high cruiser. I think he'll stay further, and that could count for a lot at Sandown on Saturday. And then the long shot is actually going to be Skellet in the Atalanta Stakes, a horse who's got course and distance form. The race is really going to be run to suit. She can take a bit of a hold. There's lots of pace on there. Cutting the ground, given the way she moves, will definitely suit. And just hope there's a bit of a pace burn up and she picks up the pieces late.
Loads of us are going to be watching her action now. I've just got sketchy skeletons in my head.
She don't move good.
Like on the dance floor.
Correct.
Exactly. I was going to say spirit animals at left, right, and centre there. Sam, your best bets.
Yeah, let's kick off with the nap, shall we? And going to go to the opener at Sandown, 7 furlong handicap, and backers of Headmaster last time out were pulling their hair out. I think it's safe to say with the ride that horse got. Ended up last at Goodwood. Put a line through that run. Definitely still looks progressive. William Haggis in good form. Arrives here, I think we've got a 5 to 1, 4 to 1 shot, and I can see this horse going off favourite on Saturday. So that's going to be the nap. The next best, I've come around to Table Talk. I've got stronger as we've spoken about him, and Kate and me both like this horse at Chester in a race that looks between the front pair in the betting, and I really hope Tom Clover's horse can continue his good form and get his head back in front. And I think it'd be all right. I think it'll all suit, and I think we'll hopefully get another win next to his name. Not one for a while, but there was a couple of good efforts this season. And then the long shot, hopefully Ed Walker can produce another good effort with American Girl, who, for me, I think a couple of runs in France. One of them was obviously the win. The run last time out, Ascot, was pretty good as well. A little bit of ease in the ground will be absolutely fine about her chances. Fingers crossed she can get ahead in front at a big price, 12-1, but I think she'll shorten.
Nicely done. I agree with your next best bet, at least for what it is worth. Then clearly with Table Talk, not that he's made my best 3 bets of the weekend. Now I could look potentially very silly, well, more silly than usual, with Regional then going to be my nap, because it's always tough though, isn't it? When you've got a horse that is at the head of the market in a race like that, who clearly is just the best horse in the race. You're always on a little bit of a hiding to nothing, but at 7-4, this is Regional's chance to put his consistency, to put his class to good use finally, and to get his head back in front again. We've proven, or he's proven himself at the top level when he was third 3 starts ago in the King Charles III Stakes. Not quite as good the last twice. Hasn't been too far off that form though. Down to listed level, I would be disappointed if he is beaten here. Yennefer is going to be my next best bet. Now we're waiting for that price to come through for the 3.15 at Chester. Talk about Chester form. This is a handicap over 7.5 furlongs. I am happy to take on El Burren, who I'm expecting to be at the head of the market for the bigger price horse of Yennefer. So still hoping to get a decent price about him all the same. Course winning form to his name, winning over 7 furlongs in August off a mark of 89. He's running off of 92 this time around, so not that much higher. And he has just got that really good Chester form. And I don't understand why he isn't being considered as it currently stands. And if the rain does hit Chester, then he is definitely going to be in the right spot for that race. And a bit of spirit at 18-1. I think I've got an extra 2 points there now for my long shot with a bit of spirit in the time that we were previewing the race. So happy days for a bit of spirit there. The most experienced horse in the race, winning his first 2 starts. Second on the latter 2 occasions. This trip over 7 furlongs should be fine for him at Sandown. Bit of cut in the ground as well. So hopefully a bit of spirit can put all of that experience to good use. All right, lads, that is us done and dusted. Hopefully the rain won't play too much havoc with this weekend's action.
Too late for that, I think, looking out the window.
I know, who knows, to be honest. But yeah, we're back into it properly now, aren't we, really, in terms of weather watch. But thank you so much to the Pair of Beauty for all of your hard work, as per usual. A big thank you to you at home for watching. Best of luck with your bets this weekend. And we'll be back at the same time next Friday to preview a very big weekend with plenty of ARC trials.